Hello, this is Veterans News, a production of the United Veterans Organization of Nassau County. My name is Ed Allman. I want to thank Erica Bradley of North Shore TV and for the use of her studio facilities here in Lake Success, and to Rebecca Levine for her professional advice. I would like to thank Sabrina Lacey. Hello, Sabrina.
Hey, Ed.
For being our guest host. Sabrina is, what are you? Besides being the chaplain of the 10th District VFW, what were you before? Weren't you something?
Suffolk County Commander,
Okay.
2017, 2018. And I'm the commander of the Brentwood VFW in Brentwood, New York.
Okay. Our guest today is Linda Gilbert. She's a board member for Honor Flights of Long Island. And of Long Island, I'm going to ask you about whether or not this is just on Long Island or if it's nationwide. And Thomas Coughlin. Did I screw the name up? Coughlin? Coughlin. Thomas Coughlin. I knew I was going to screw that. All right. He's a veteran who's been on the Honor Flights, and he's also with us. We'll talk to Linda and Tom in a few minutes, but first, let me remember some of the veterans who died recently. Larry Pinto passed away at age 100. Larry of East Meadow was a veteran of both Okinawa and Iwo Jima. Larry was both a Marine veteran. He was also a sergeant major in the Army for 38 years. 104-year-old veteran Dominic Citarelli of Floral Park served in the Army in 42 through 45, and he made staff sergeant. Frank Angola lived to be 101 years old veteran, and he was at D-Day. He landed in France on a glider. He was a retired New York City detective and a resident of Deer Park. Joe Earring of Northport was 99 years young. On August 1945, he became an ensign in the Navy and stayed in the Naval Service till 1960. Steve Militzer was a 62-year-old who was buried at Maple Grove Cemetery. He was an F-106 fighter pilot and an agent for the Air Force Office of Special Investigations. Dr. Charles Breyer died at age 91 of Oakdale. He was in Oakdale, and he was served in the Air Force Reserve, and he was on active duty in the Vietnam War. Joseph Sanifide of Hauppauge died at 82. He was a Navy veteran who became a Suffolk County Corrections Officer. John Reardon was also 82. He was a Navy veteran from Levittown. He was a retired police detective. That's all for the veterans that have passed away. Now it's time for our guests. Welcome, Linda.
Thank you.
And Tom, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm amazed by what you do. I mean, Honor Flight, I've heard of them for a long time. I've never flown with them, but I'm thrilled that you're here.
Thank you.
Linda, what is your job with Honor Flight?
So I'm a board member with Honor Flight Long Island, and what we do is we take veterans, any veteran that served up until 1975 is eligible, and we take these veterans down to Washington, D.C. to see their war memorial, completely free of charge.
You said the age of 75.
No, any veteran that served up until the year 1975,
Okay.
which basically covers all of the conflicts from World War II, Korea, through
Right.
Vietnam at
Right.
this point. At some point in the future, we'll probably be expanding it to veterans that served more recently, as they're doing another memorial for the Gulf War
Right.
veterans. But currently, we're taking any veteran that served, and what we cover Nassau and Suffolk County. So those are the veterans that we are looking to try to get the word out.
Is there an Honor Flight program outside of Nassau and Suffolk County?
There is. So there is an Honor Flight network, which is kind of what I call our mothership, and that's our guiding organization. And then under Honor Flight network, there's about 206 hubs
Really?
that operate. There's about 5 or 6 just in New York, because you've got upstate, you've got Long Island, you've got the 5 boroughs. There's several different hubs that operate in New York. Honor Flight Long Island covers Nassau and Suffolk County alone. But there's also other hubs in, I think, 46 out of the 50 states.
Really?
There are hubs for all veterans to be able to take part in this. And it's, again, it's a free trip. We take, for our hub, we take them from Long Island MacArthur Airport. We fly down to BWI, Baltimore Washington International
Right.
Airport. We hop on a couple of charter buses. We take them into DC. We see the World War II Memorial, the Korean War Memorial, the Wall. We go to Arlington and visit, and we watch the changing of the guard.
First, I want to ask you about the money that's involved, but before that, what does the national organization do for Long Island?
So the national organization gives the guidelines for all of the hubs that we have to operate under. So it gives us the rules that we have to abide by. There are certain, things that we have to do, and what the network does, the Honor Flight network helps us when we get into Baltimore
Okay.
or get into DC. There's a whole group of people that work for the network that volunteer that help to coordinate us when we arrive.
Okay. Now, you said that this whole operation is free. It's free to the veteran.
It is free to the veteran. We are a not-for-profit. We rely strictly on donations, and we use our money to cover the cost of the veteran to fly. It costs us approximately $400 per veteran to take them down. Every veteran gets a guardian, and the guardian is asked to pay their fare. So
Okay.
the guardians are required to pay the $400 to cover their share of the trip.
And the $400 is a round trip?
Right, $400 covers everything. It covers the airfare on Southwest, it covers the food, it covers the charter buses, it covers everything for the day.
Okay.
But our goal is to make a trip that doesn't cost the veteran anything, because
Okay.
the veterans have done enough for us, and this is our way to thank them for their service.
Before I let you go on,
Go ahead.
we have Tom sitting between us,
We
and he's
do.
not said anything yet.
Not yet, no.
So maybe, Tom, can you tell us what your experience with Honor Flight has been?
Well, maybe, Tom, if you could tell us a little bit about your service in the military, because you did serve, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
In 1967, the day I turned 18, I actually cut school and joined the Navy. I did finish. I got a high school diploma. I went to boot camp in Great Lakes, Illinois, and from Great Lakes, Illinois, I was inducted into the Seabees in Port Hueneme, California.
The Seabees?
Yes, where I went to
What?
diesel school to learn about equipment. Seabees are builders, fighters, electricians, anything to do with
Yeah.
construction.
You told me before the show started that they asked you what you wanted to do?
Yes, so in boot camp, they have what they call career day, at least that's what it was when I was there. So you sit down in a room with 3 or 4 people, and they say to you, what would you like to be? What would you like to do in the Navy? What would you like
Right.
for your job to be? And, you're 18 years old, what do you know? So I said, they said, what'd you do on the outside? They're trying to help me.
Right.
And I said, well, I was a mechanic in a gas station. They said, well, how would you like to go to school and learn about diesel engines? I said, school and diesel engines? I said, I'm in. And that's how I got into the Seabees.
Okay.
And it was the best thing that ever happened to me as far as service connected and in life. It gave me, it helped me throughout my whole life, to form a business, to do things, and to, the camaraderie, and the CB motto is can do. And that means there's no job you can't do. In other words, if there's something that's broken, you can't figure out how to fix it, you better figure out how to make it, because...
Something that's broken, you hurt yourself in the service?
Yes, but that was that was service connected when I was stationed in Puerto Rico, but not in Vietnam.
Okay.
And
All right.
But in Vietnam, just to give you a for instance, when I was there a short time, a truck had run over a landmine, and it was a tandem axle truck, and it had what they call a trunnion, which is keeps your axles. And so I was assigned with another mechanic to fix it, and this nut was crushed onto it, and the guy's like, I don't know how we're going to do this. I said, give me the torch and let me try it.
Yeah.
And he said, well, if you screw the threads up, he says, you better run for the hills. He said, because Chief ain't going to be happy. But anyways, I was able to cut it off and fix it. And my point is that you learned how to do stuff
Yeah.
out of necessity. And there just is there's no answer. You can't say no.
Yeah. Okay. How much time did you spend in Vietnam?
A year.
A year. Okay. Didn't get shot at or anything like that?
Yes, we experienced incoming. When I first got there, I was there about 2 weeks, and the outfit that I was assigned to, CBMU 301, our job was to maintain the local airstrip, the supply ramp, all the forklifts, and to take care of all of the roads around the base, repair bomb craters, whatever. So we were there about 2 weeks, and they came into the shop one day and they said, okay, we need volunteers. One thing they tell you is never volunteer. So they said, and guys that had been there I got there right after Tet in 1968, which anybody that knows anything about the war, that was the worst part of the war. And half of my outfit had been in Quezon. And so everybody's got their heads down, and they said, okay, all you new guys, you're going out to the airstrip.
Yeah.
So they took us out to the airstrip, and while we went out there to patch holes. So while we were patching holes, we were being shelled and trying to patch holes, and they gave you, there was different, guys did different things. So I had one truck that had bags of concrete on it. So they said to me, okay, go get a bag of concrete. And I weighed 125 pounds, and a bag of concrete
You
weighs
weighed
50 pounds.
125
Yeah,
pounds?
not anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
So this guy puts this bag of concrete on me, and I went right down. He said, give him a shovel. Next guy, and he took
Yeah.
a shovel. So the guy would throw the bag of concrete in a hole, you'd stab it with the shovel,
Okay.
patch
Yeah.
the hole, and put runway matting over it. And
Tom, I have a question for you.
Sure.
All right, I'm Army. The best network in the United States is the Army, okay? So you were in the Navy, and under the Navy is where you were considered like a CB.
Yes.
Is that how that is? Right? Just want to let the audience know that, because I wasn't aware of that. They don't talk too much about you CBs, so it's good that you had them on the show, Ed.
Yeah.
You know, we get to learn a lot.
I spent no time on a ship, and we spent, in Vietnam, we were attached to the 3rd Marine Division. And,
Okay. Sure.
And you said you're married.
excuse me, yes.
Yeah. How
yes.
long you been married?
53 years.
53. And he has a beautiful wife.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
And 3 beautiful daughters
How
and
do you
6
know he
beautiful
has a beautiful
grandchildren.
wife?
Because she's right over there.
No, that's
That's not his wife?
That's his
That's his
daughter.
daughter?
Oh, my
I didn't know that.
it's my daughter.
That's your daughter?
God.
You look just like.
She was his guardian on
That's
his
his-
plane.
Oh.
Yes.
You know, one thing you should
Anybody
mention
can be
about
a
the
guardian, right?
wheelchairs that you supply.
So where's the wife?
She's home.
Oh, hi,
Okay.
wife.
No, she's home. But
Okay.
when you go on this trip, your guardian cannot be your wife.
Okay.
Yep.
It has to be a friend or a sibling or whatever. So that's my oldest daughter,
Yeah.
Okay.
Kate.
Yeah.
and-
Guardian has to be next
look good for 80.
generation.
Right.
So, yeah. And the reason why we asked the guardian, if you don't mind me interrupting,
No.
the guardian should be next generation, because the guardian has to handle a wheelchair. Every veteran gets a wheelchair. Whether he may need it or not, we bring the wheelchairs, and that way, as the day progresses and they get more tired, they may be even more inclined to sit.
Yeah.
And that's why we do not let a spouse be the guardian,
How
because
many
we want somebody
veterans
younger.
go at a time?
We take 45 veterans on each trip. We do 2 trips a year. We
45 veterans on
45
an
veterans,
airplane.
45 guardians, and about 10 board members. So we're usually
Okay.
about 100, 102 for each flight. And we
Okay.
do 2 trips
Plus
a
a
year.
wheelchair for every
Plus the
veteran.
wheelchair for every veteran. Yeah, we're like a slow-moving herd,
Yeah.
through the airport. But we get there, right? I mean, we definitely get there. Just, lots of bathroom stops, because we know we need bathrooms a lot.
Lisa, it's Lisa, right?
Linda.
Linda. What is the oldest veteran you have taken on?
103. 103. What I was speaking earlier before we started taping is, we were on a hiatus after COVID, right? We couldn't fly for almost 2 years. And we had World War II guys that were waiting to fly. And World War II guys, obviously, as you know, they're really up there. And we decided we needed to take them. We needed to figure it out, and we needed to take them. And I kind of called them my guinea pigs, because we took 9 World War II veterans that were willing to fly, and just the 9. So we had a nice bus. We had plenty of room. You know, nine veterans, 9 guardians, and a bunch of board members, and with the hand sanitizer and the masks, and we did it with them. And half of those veterans, at least 5 of them, were over the age of 100. So what I'm getting at is Honor Flight Long Island knows what we're doing. We have a nurse that travels with us. We take medicals of everyone that's flying with us. The nurse is prepared for pretty much anything that could possibly happen. She'll
Where do
know.
you get the nurses from? Are they volunteers as well?
Well, we have a nurse that's one of our board members, and then we have actually, we just signed up a doctor who's also going to be helping out as well,
Okay.
a volunteer.
Volunteers?
Yeah, but we always must have a medical person on the
Right.
flight with us.
We're starting to run out of time.
Yeah, I wanted
Do we
to-
have the
Yeah.
tape that you'd like to show?
Yeah, what I'd like to do is show, it's like a 3-minute video. It gives you a little snippet of what our Honor Flight Day is like. So if we can show that video now, that would be great.
Uh,
Talking to an airman at the end of our trip, and he was saying how that's not the way he was received. When he came back to the airport from being overseas in Vietnam, and a military policeman told him, go in the bathroom and change into your civvies. Try to put yourself into that position. You come back, you've seen stuff that you never want to see, that you want to put behind you, and you did what you were told to do. You're protecting your country. And then you have to wear civvies when you come back. They were servicemen. They were doing what they were told to do. And then when you come back to this country and get treated the way that they did, you don't want to talk about it. Everybody here has stories they don't want to tell. As much as, yeah, well, I was in the service and I went to Vietnam. But there's stuff that you see, there's stuff that happens to you. You want to put it in the closet.
Starts in a small way a healing process by providing just a little bit of closure through experiencing the flight, the camaraderie, the generosity, and the love that the veterans are reconnecting through in this experience.
How do you explain a warm feeling in your body? How do you feel happy to be a part of something that's so much bigger than you? At the end of this tour, these guys are going to go back to the airport, and there's going to be hundreds of people cheering them as they come off the plane and down the tarmac. There's no way I can explain that feeling, but it's a good one.
This day and the experience of it sends a message deep down to that old pain, that no matter what we've been through, no matter all the stuff that we've seen, no matter everything that we had to do, we are home.
saw two veterans that I know in that video. Very good.
Yep, yep.
That was an amazing documentary,
Yeah.
and thank you for what you all are doing for the veterans, because that takes them out of the house. Some of them probably wouldn't even come out,
Yeah, yeah.
but they'll come out for something like that. And I'm quite sure when they go down there and they meet the other veterans there, they may run into somebody that they know.
There's such a support system, especially for the Vietnam veterans, that we see that they really support each other.
Yeah.
You know, especially at the wall.
How
And,
does
you
a
know,
veteran find out about this? How does a veteran get involved to go down?
So hopefully, if you have a computer or even a phone, you go into honorflightlongisland.org. You can go right on the website and sign up to fly a veteran. There is a bit of a waiting list. I need to be transparent on that. There is a waiting list of about 1.5 to 2 years for Vietnam veterans to fly. But we encourage everybody, every veteran that's eligible for Nassau and Suffolk County, to put that application in. Even if you are not sure you want to go, you can always say no,
Oh.
you know, when we call you up. And I wanted to just stress one more thing. It doesn't matter what you did in the service. You could have been a baker, you could have been in combat, you could have been stateside, or you may have been sent overseas. It doesn't matter what you did. You served our country the way they asked you to serve, and you are completely authorized is the wrong word.
Honorable.
We would like to take you to Washington, D.C. because you served our country.
Can I ask, besides the wall,
Yes.
Vietnam vets, what other monuments do you go to?
So we generally go see the World War II Memorial, we see the Korean War Memorial, and then we go to the wall. We go to Arlington National Cemetery and witness the changing of the guard. We will usually hit Iwo Jima Memorial. We will hit the Air Force Memorial. On some trips, when we have a very, very early departure out of Islip, we have gotten access to the National Archive building before they open. And they've
Nice.
actually opened it up just for us before the general public. We get to go there for about an hour and a half, depending. That's not an
Yeah.
always thing, but we've had times where we were able to do that.
Yeah.
It's a full day. You know, I'm not lying to you. It's a full day. We're out of Islip early in the morning. We're come back into Islip late at night. But it's a wonderful day, and we get
Yeah.
such great feedback from our veterans and our guardians.
Do they eat?
We eat well.
You
We-
eat well?
We eat well. We have breakfast for them at the airport in the
Okay.
morning. We have a box lunch on the bus. We have snacks throughout the day, plenty of water, plenty of bathroom breaks, and we have dinner at the airport at BWI before we hop on the plane to come back home.
Okay.
There is no starving veteran or
Yeah.
guardian. We have snacks. We go up and down the bus and give out snacks throughout the day. So.
How do they get from monument to monument?
So the bus will bring us to World War II generally.
You have a bus.
We-
When
we-
you land,
so-
you have a bus.
Correct. So we land in BWI, Baltimore. We don't fly directly into DC. We fly into BWI. That's just we're limited in Southwest destinations. We land in BWI where we have 2 charter buses waiting for us. And then we will board those buses. They bring us into DC. Once we get into World War II, then we walk around for a couple of hours, and that's why we use the wheelchairs to get around to the
Right.
3 main memorials.
Okay. It sounds like you have an awful lot to do, and at some point, you're going to run out of time.
You would think so, but we're Tom can say, we're like a really well-oiled machine.
Really?
It's amazing how it works, to be honest.
You probably have a good template
You're
and a
never
good
bored for a
support
minute.
Yeah.
Right.
mechanism,
You're never
right?
bored.
Yeah.
A good
Yeah.
group of people,
We
right?
do, we do.
And then you take pictures, what you were telling me earlier?
Yep,
Yes.
we have
What is
a
that book about?
Yeah.
Yep, so a photographer also flies with us, and he takes about 1,000 pictures throughout the day. And what happens is, after the trip, we have a reunion event about 3 months later, 2 to 3 months later, at the American Air Power Museum in Farmingdale.
Good that you mentioned that.
And every veteran that flew with us will get a personalized photo journal with pictures of him during the day. So it's literally going to be, we have a staff. In fact, my husband, Gary Gilbert, actually runs this team. And we actually are the ones that go through 1,000 pictures and say, okay, we need to find a picture of Thomas throughout the day. And we find
Right.
pictures of him, and we put those pictures in his book. A lot of effort.
It's amazing. And you are a nonprofit organization. How you doing with donations?
Well, you know, we never say no. You know, we're a somewhat healthy organization.
There's a lot of funny business going on.
I can
with the
see.
sign.
They're having fun over there.
Just wanted to say that.
Listen, we are a somewhat healthy organization, but keep in mind, every trip costs us about $45,000.
Right.
So as healthy as we may be, we go through it awfully quickly.
And if you had added funds, you could do added things.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Like have your own helicopter or a plane to take them.
Yeah, well, like chartering a plane has always been another option, and it's too expensive, which is why we
Again, what is the website that they have to go to?
Honor Flight Long Island, altogether, no spaces, .org.
Okay, Honor Flight, Long Island.
Long Island.
Long Island spelled out or L-I?
Long Island spelled out.
Long Island,
.org, O-R-G.
okay.
And do you have to
Honor
live in
Flight.
Nassau in Suffolk County for your organization?
Yeah.
Or it doesn't matter what town?
So we specifically serve Nassau and Suffolk County.
If there's someone out of our district, they can just Google it and
Yep, and
find out
and
where
if
they...
they're not sure which hub covers their area, they can always reach out to us and we'll direct them to the
Okay.
proper hub.
Tom, do you want to say anything?
Yes, I'd like to say that it was one of the
I
best
know you
things
will.
I've ever done in my life. It was so well organized, and the people are phenomenal, and I can't say enough, and having my daughter with me was... I didn't talk about this for a long, long time. My daughter will tell you
You want
that.
to come over here? Come on over
Yeah,
here.
come on in.
Come on in, so I can see how young
What's
you
your
are.
daughter's name?
Kate,
Kate?
Come over here.
All right.
Yeah.
Kate went to Honor Flight as
Yes.
your mentor.
Yes.
Your wife was not allowed to be your
No.
mentor? Why is that? Why can't...
Because the guardians have to be a little bit more physically able to handle the wheelchair on and off
Okay.
the bus, on and off the plane, so we want someone that's a little bit younger, more able-bodied.
Okay. You're younger and able-bodied. How about that? Okay.
Great compliment.
You mentioned the American Air Power Museum a few minutes ago.
I did, that's where we have our reunion event, the American
Okay.
Air Power Museum.
I want to say that the American Air Power Museum on September 6th and October 4th is going to have flights aboard the World War II Douglas C-47s. So if you'd like to go on a flight, go to the website, AmericanAirPowerMuseum.org. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.